Welcome in everyone to Mike Simpson Paranormal, my YouTube channel, as I welcome you to the Fort Hays Career Center in the outskirts of downtown Columbus, Ohio. Hello everyone, hope you're enjoying your day. This is the place dedicated to Jack Gibbs Sr. He had a vision for Central Ohio students to have an opportunity for a unique career. And here I am inside this amazing fort, because long before it was the school, it was Fort Hays. To put things in perspective, as we do the walkthrough, as you can see, the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio, not too far in the distance, is Columbus State Community College. Very proud of my son, Brandon Simpson, who will be graduating from there next spring. Beautiful, sunny day. Temperatures not too hot. Looking forward to seeing what will we discover at this amazing location. The Fort Hays Metropolitan Education Center, which is made up of the Battelle Youth Center program, the Career Center, and the Fort Hays Arts and Academic High School. From 1864 to the present time, these buildings have stood tall. That is the infamous Shot Tower, the building that is standing a little bit taller than the rest of that main building. These older buildings are now put to good use, as we said, as not only is it the Arts Academic High School, also has other elements. The Science Center, as we walk around, we'll see the Performing Arts Center. But let's talk the history. What is now known as Fort Hays Army Reserve Base originally began in 1861 as a Civil War armory and arsenal post. There was a great need for federal arsenal to store and repair. So they called this post the Columbus Arsenal. It was built on a large field, as you can see, planned by Captain J.W. Todd and built under the direction of Captain T.C. Bradford, known as the father of Fort Hays. Hopefully, two of the names that we will try to reach out and connect with during this investigation. Wasn't fully completed until 1865, though it was receiving, storing, and issuing the elements of battle in large amounts. After the war, they received a lot of used guns and other military weapons, which were fixed or used for parts. Storehouse was building number 2, made of sandstone and brick, also timber floors, 50,000 board feet of ash. The copper and cast from the corners were made in Cincinnati, Ohio. The tower had a wooden steps, hoisting apparatus, and an elevator to move supplies among the floors of the arsenal. So there was a tower and a shot tower. The shot tower was actually building 62. This is the regular tower. The shot tower building 62, molten iron and lead was rolled down a funnel into ice water, which created the perfect Civil War cannonball. There was an officer quarters. After the Civil War, the Fort Hays Columbus Arsenal was beautiful with trees and shrubs, and we can see some of that in the distance today. It was also a general recruiting service as a training base for recruits. 4 companies of cadre were organized in 1881. The Spanish-American War inspired new buildings and more recruits in residence. The storehouse or arsenal or main building was remodeled to house 500 new recruits. And we're going to check out some of those buildings on the walkthrough here. You'll be able to tell the older buildings from the newer buildings, which they have classrooms currently. I want to give a shout out before I continue reading anything else to a coworker and friend of mine that told me about Fort Hays. She was a graduate a few years back, so shout out to Brianna for telling me about the location, and I'm excited to be here. Something tells me I'll have to come back for a second investigation here. This location is massive. It's like walking on a college campus. We're going to get into the shade and we're going to check out some more of the buildings here on the walkthrough. So the way it'll work is after the walkthrough, I will set things up for the investigation. I've been here for a while talking to, as they like to be called, people. They were people at one time. They prefer that over spirits and ghosts. So by 1900, the post gained 8 acres and continued to grow in importance, becoming the Columbus recruiting depot of 2 infantry companies, 6 recruiting companies, and a band was stationed there as well. I'm sure they were happy to have electricity installed in 1908. More new buildings were built, reflecting the depot's growth in population and importance. The old headquarters building was torn down in 1910. A hospital PX, new officer quarters, non-commissioned officer quarters, a bakery, a laundry, a warehouse, and several more barracks were added in the Columbus recruiting depot. Here's building 64, which I believe is one of the current classrooms. There was an act signed into law in 1917 during World War I. The old barns and stables were transformed into garages and repair shops. After World War II, the Columbus Recruiting Depot was renamed Fort Hays in the honor of the governor of Ohio, who is Rutherford B. Hayes in 1922. Now, if that name sounds familiar, Rutherford B. Hayes, of course, he went on to become one of our presidents. Interesting tidbit that I didn't know, that he was the governor of Ohio first. During World War II, there were 2,000 officers and men stationed here until 1944. In 1946, the Ohio National Guard began to use Fort Hays though Fort Hays continued to be a training and induction center through the Vietnam War. The Army Reserve and Guard of Engineers were located here as well. It was used by state and federal governments for both military and civilian uses. In 1976, Fort Hays sold 50 acres of its base land to Columbus City Schools for $1. In 1988, 3 new educational programs opened their doors: a Career Center program, the Battelle Youth Science program, and the Arts and Academic High School. So up in a moment, we are going to talk about some of the claims, paranormal, as we continue our walk through. at the Fort Hays Academic School. In the background, you'll see other buildings that are part of the base that they don't use anymore, that was used prior. I've seen birds, I've seen gophers, not golfers, gophers, and other animals on my pre-walkthrough. And we have some artistic young ladies and men that go to this school as we pass by Building 63. So, let's talk about the paranormal, the claims. Many people think the Shot Tower is one of the most hot spots or haunted locations of Fort Hays. Many entities haunt this building. Students are scared to go to the top floor because of what they may see there. The old hospital building, which is used for classrooms. The living have heard the cries of the dying and badly injured. Entities in nurse uniforms have been seen going about their business. Entities in soldier uniforms also make their appearance known. The science building and the old mess hall. People have seen entities leaving the building with food and fade away as they cross the grassy area, which I'm crossing the grassy area right now in front of the mess hall. Many faculty members who have stayed after hours have said they witnessed Civil War entities still wandering around the old buildings and grounds nearby, perhaps going about their business. They were unable to finish because of a sudden, unexpected, sometimes unpleasant end or ending. During the school hours in the new building, students participating in the various programs have witnessed lockers with a mind of their own swinging open, slamming shut at will. Footsteps in empty hallways or staircases have unnerved some of the living. Still others sense an unseen presence keeping them company. People have feeling that someone is following or watching their activities. People have reported hearing soft, undistinguishable whispering. So the question is Fort Hays still haunted? Well, hopefully we're going to find out. As you can see my shadow. So I've seen a couple of cars on the premises, but so far nobody has come up to me and said anything. So we're hoping we can finish the walkthrough, get things set up, and do the investigation outside. Of course, it would be great to investigate someday the inside of this amazing location. We're going to come up to building 566. So we see Old Glory. As you can tell, there is not a breeze on a beautiful June day in the Columbus, Ohio area. I'm wondering if we can reach out to Jack Gibbs, who is so prominent that they named the complex and the buildings in his name and honor. This is the main office we're approaching for the school. as you can see the sign. So the entities of the past, the military personnel, keep an eye on the living, they say, and I'm sure they have a couple of eyes on me right now. They're curious what I'm doing, along with what everyone else is doing in the school. They get their chuckles by slamming and opening lockers and watching the living in all of their activities. I really recommend, if you get a chance, to come on here and just take pictures and get your own feeling, get your own sense, get your own vibe of this location. So we're going to walk around, and a lot of birds. Hopefully we're going to get to a spot where there's not a lot of noise. We don't have to worry about the cars on the freeway. It's pretty far away. But I want you to get a sense, as we continue the walkthrough, that this is all part of the complex. So what are we hoping to accomplish in this investigation? It's always about connecting. That's why I come here and I talk to them. I tell them who I am, why I'm here, what I'm doing, and what I'm hoping we can accomplish while I'm here. Would it be great to get them on video? Would it be great to get a great EVP? If you don't know that, it's an electronic voice phenomena, where at the time you're recording the audio, you may not hear them, but when you play it back, you may hear something that you didn't hear during the recording. There's school buses in the background. Columbus City Schools bus depot. We're hoping to get some names that we've already mentioned, that prominent to when this was Fort Hays. We're going to try to hopefully get the truth on a story that I've read about the complex. Had to do with a soldier, they say, that was on this fort, who they say met an untimely death. So here's the story, and we're going to try to reach out. A soldier, Nicholas Hartzell, we will be trying to reach out to him as well, was killed by an exploding cannon, which was part of a huge cannon salute honoring Abraham Lincoln on the day of his funeral. It is rumored that Nicholas was in love with an officer's daughter here on the fort. It is suspected that this officer knew that the cannon was defective. Like a lot of military installations, entities of the past soldiers still are enlisted members of the military, despite dying in accidents, suicide, disease, and from wounds received. So supposedly this officer, even though he knew the cannon was defected, and if it was lit, it would be the demise of Nicholas Hartzell. Supposedly he did not want Nicholas to have anything to do with his daughter. So that is a story that we are going to try to either prove or disprove during the investigation. So let's continue walking. Remember, Mike Simpson Paranormal is my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please give it a like. Please give it a subscription. Doesn't cost anything but a second of your time. And if you would like to investigate with me, please write in the comments. Looking for people to investigate. Whether you're an investigator, you're a tech person, you're a psychic medium, whether you live in the Columbus, Ohio area, Or if you don't live in the Columbus, Ohio area, maybe you're looking for someone like I am to investigate. I am not currently on a team. I've been on 2 teams sandwiched in between. I worked for an event company that we hosted paranormal investigations throughout the USA. Now I'm solo and looking for people that have the same passion and the same fire to investigate. People ask, Mike, why do you do this? And I tell people I'm searching for answers like everyone else is. We're never going to find all the answers. If I'm lucky enough to connect and get one question answered in investigation, I feel like it's a win. And we will ask some questions. We will do some different things to try to spark the interest. We'll offer some music that hopefully the soldiers, but there may be more than just soldiers here, because this land was here before the fort was built. Maybe we'll get a hold of some Indians, Native American Indians. I am Cherokee. I've also spent 4 years in the Navy. I feel I can connect to the soldiers. Hopefully I can connect to the Indians. I also hope that I can connect to anyone else that may be with us this late afternoon into the early evening of the investigation. And yes, we are still walking the grounds. If you just tuned in the middle of this walkthrough, it's the Fort Hays Academic Career Center. Whereas you may not be able to see it on the door, but it says amazing things here happen. This is the Performing Arts Building. So I want to show you a couple of more things before the walkthrough ends and we get ready to set up for the investigation. This is the second time I've been here. The first time I pretty much just did a walkthrough, talked, some light investigating, just trying to connect and get the people that are still here with us a little familiarity with who I am and why I'm here. But one of the first things that I noticed when I walked through the complex is where we're walking right now are the trees. This formation of trees. Not only the formation of the trees, but how there's an inner circle with the trees, so to speak. It's almost like, I'm not sure if there were ceremonies or anything that ever happened many, many years ago, but I had to walk inside of this circle of trees for a moment. And you can see cars in the freeway. That is 670, downtown Columbus area. Another unusual, interesting thing on this, or at this location, it's some neat formation rocks. Right here. And then they have exercise equipment. So I guess if you're walking at lunch, before or after classes, and you need to get that work out on, here we go. You just sit down and you lift up, and as I'm doing, and wow, yeah, No, thank you. I'm a little bit old for that. Once again, the outskirts of Columbus, Ohio. I am Mike Simpson. This is our walkthrough at the Fort Hays Education Center. I'm going to take you to the entrance of this complex, and then I am going to say goodbye for now, and we are going to set up and get ready to investigate. So I walk 5 to 10 miles a day, 5 days a week at work. What am I doing on a Saturday? I'm walking, but this is a fun walk. It's exciting. I tell people, every investigation I go to, it's like Christmas Day, and I'm sitting there waiting to open up my presents. In this case, I'm at the Fort Hays Academic Center for the first time, and I'm excited to investigate to see who's here with us. Please, when you watch the investigation, I encourage comments. If you see something, if you hear something, anything that you need to comment on, please comment. Good, bad, or indifferent. I will read all comments. I'm going to show you the front entrance. And here we have it. The Fort Hays Metropolitan Education Center on the outskirts of downtown Ohio. This is Mike Simpson. Let's get ready to investigate.